Good evening and many thanks for keeping it KBM TV, the very first interview of 2020 with the presidential candidates. And of course, today on the spot we have two presidential aspirants, Darius Mugambi Joshua Saitoti, and of course, Dr. Collins Keboi, a student of medicine and a political analyst. Just let's begin with you, Darius.
Yes. Okay, my name is Darius Mugambi, but commonly known as Mr. Kickoff, and many comrades refer me to us. And, I'm so humbled to be here at the moment. And I pursue Bachelor of Science in Industrial Chemistry. I'm a third year student, and of course I'm a presidential aspirant. Yeah, thank you.
Saitoti.
I'm Joshua Saitoti, Senate, student at Mount Kenya University, taking a bachelor's degree in economics and statistics. I'm a third year student, and apparently a candidate vying for the position of the president in the forthcoming elections. Thank you.
As the Bennett say, I'm Collins. I'm a political analyst. Apart from that one, I'm still a student taking clinical medicine here in Mount Kenya University.
And gentlemen, talk to me about your interest on this presidential docket and not any other. Darius.
Okay, of course, the interest is, and the main agenda is to serve the interest of Congress. Yeah.
Saitoti.
I think it is very important. The question itself is very important and timely. The reason as to why I chose to fight for the president is nothing less than touching lives and doing that which is better and good for the comrades. It is to a time that with the comrades we need some kind of thorough representation, and we need people who can address our issues the way they are. And actually I myself, I'm in that position to actually speak the comrades' demand and to the right authorities and without a blame. And that's it. Thank you.
Collins, you've been around for quite a while, and of course you know how things have been happening here.
Yeah.
So what do we expect different from the new council, apart from the outgoing council?
From the new council, what I expect from them is just to improve better than the others who was here, were in that position.
In what? In terms of positions, in academics, in terms of presidential position, sports.
For them, they are vying for presidential position.
Yes.
So what I expect is that to improve on what the previous president was, to boost up, because the previous president really do work hard, and as we see these guys, they have really potential, and I want them to really work hard so that at least move this institution ahead.
And of course, Saitoti.
Yes.
Apart from serving the students,
Yeah.
how will you gain from this position of president if elected, personally?
Well, I think basically the most important thing is building my capacity. Because ultimately all this is about building your own capacity. Because you understand we all have different aspirations, and of course this may not be the last place or maybe the position. So we are still looking forward to the future, and we have some other more aspirations in the future. So apart from serving the comrades and maybe the small pennies that maybe come along with the service, I also have to build my capacity in that position so that when I go out there to the community, at least I have some strong muscles to face the leadership out there. Thank you.
Mugambi,
Yes.
what gains would you have in this position if elected?
Well, gains at my own view. One of the things is that I'll have gained the leadership qualities. Furthermore, dealing with comrades is of 18. I'll be at a capacity even when I get out to national politics. I'll be in a position because dealing with the comrades in an institution is an equivalence of an constituency.
Exactly.
If I may say, because the population is quite the same. So like I'll be at a capacity even to deal with other people outside there. And as my brother is saying, like it gives you that like you are connected in different areas, so that at least at a personal level you can be uplifted in one way or another. But I think the most important thing and the most crucial thing is service to people, that is comrades. And of course, when you serve comrades, they will see your work, and outside the community itself, they will see what you've done, and they will even entrust you outside if you ask for any position. They will give you.
If given 1 million shillings to withdraw your candidate, would you?
Not really, because after all, I'm not vying for the interest of money. Why are you using that money to do that? Because you're using a lot of money to campaign and do all these stuff. And of which, after you check out the money that you get after getting to those positions, it is not worth. But now, because of the service that we have to give, we need to go for this.
Saitoti, I'm saying this because in the past we have found candidates who were given some money to withdraw from the race, and indeed they received the money. So don't you think that, from where you sit, how would you say about that?
Well, I think that is not, or that's an unfortunate thing that can never happen to me, because I've never dreamed of it, and I don't think of it happening in any given time. Because the beginning of everything, they say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Yeah.
And the many steps and handles that I've maybe gone through all along up to this moment does not qualify me or guarantee me to give up when I'm almost at the finishing line. So I'm definitely going to the ballot and nothing else. So,
Collins, given score out of 10, how do you give the performance of the outgoing leadership?
Between the two.
No, the outgoing leadership.
The outgoing.
Yeah, the outgoing cabinet. If you're given score out of 10, what percentage would you give them?
I might give them 8% because they are not perfect. Sometimes they make small mistakes, and sometimes it's difficult to reach your goal which you have set because of just small mistakes and small things. But for now, this time, I think for you to be successful, you really have to work hard and to work on your goals which you have set, and just to be sincere and just to do what is expected as a leader without being pushed or without being followed. That's what about leadership it is.
And of course, in your first days in office, once if you didn't, you are elected, Mugambi, what would be the first thing to do once you get into the office?
The first thing that I will do, okay, there are many things that I have to do.
Yes,
on the line.
exactly.
And one thing I think we should do as a Mount Kenya University is to revive the spirit and the power of comradeship. That is the first and the foremost thing that we have to do. Because however much we have other agendas, without the power and the spirit. And when I say the power of comradeship, it doesn't mean going to the street and doing whatever, strike and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
What I mean, like we should be united as comrades. If we say we are taking this direction, we just take one side, and that's out. That will be the first thing that will ensure we've managed to bring the comrades together. We revive that spirit and that power, so that when we have anything to do with any problem within our institution,
yes,
we can solve it amicably and reach to a point that we can be able to say, well, we did something.
Saitoti, what is the main agenda that you consider when you get immediately into the office, the first days of your office?
Well, I think one of the best things is first to gain trust from both the students and the university. I've inlined so many things that I would want to maybe do to the comrades. One is that as a comrade, we have some of the challenges that are very broad and if dealt with, at least we can say we at home. One is the issue of fee. We have a problem. I want to tell you, Mr. Kafuli,
Yes.
that we are as different as our fingers.
Yeah.
We are never the same. In every other aspect, financially, academically, all angles. And so if we can deal with the issue of fee, and so that at least we can push the deadline. You know, there's this time restriction, and if it comes when a moment people are kuna pesa, yeah, you can say that there's no money completely. So if we can push at least for our deadline to be pushed a little bit further, and of course the percentage of the required amount at least to be reduced. You know, it is somehow high, 80 and something like that. So if we can at least reduce that percentage, it will be better for the comrades. One other thing is we have the issue of soups. Soups, all special exams, all these things. I tell you, it is really burdening us. You know, I've worked as a class rep, and I've dealt with so many people with the same case, these problems. Despite the fact that many people may be that there's a work for the academics, but it is affecting us as a comrade. If we can speak this out, at least it will be better for us. So I'll push at least so that in the beginning of every semester, if there are some special exams, soups and all that, to be done in the beginning of the semester, so that at least can give the comrades room to work on the new semester's units. You can imagine somebody may be having a bulk of 13 units, and coming to exam times, you know, somebody is just like, you know, blown up, and that's very dangerous. So at least we can work out that framework. Something else is we have so many talents in Monkey University.
Yes.
In the first places, being academics, in the sports, every other area, we have so many talents. So I will push for maybe a development of an incubation center for the talents of the comrades. And this one will help at least us to diverse the many talents we have. I'm very happy that our founder, Professor Gisheru, has a television, the TV47. So at least we can showcase our talents using that platform. You know, many of our comrades will get opportunities. They are outside and also develop their skills. So I can say we have so much. I have so much. Personally, I've seen some very great things to be done to the comrades. I have something here about the Somesha Mwenzako initiative. I think this will help those young comrades, fellow comrades that are suffering with the issue of fee and all this. At least when we start this initiative, it will be an alternative. We have the student kitty that our former leaders have been pushing for, and we see it not coming to happen. But I promise.
Allow me just to get you short, and then we'll come to that.
Okay.
Let me go to Collins and ask him that you as a student, you have found what STATE says about the fees and of course term restriction. How do you feel about that?
For me, when it comes to the fee and the time restriction, I think that one, in some students, I think it's painful to them because you might find a student had not completed fee, then when it comes into entrance into the school, it becomes difficult because of time restriction they get because of those biometrics which it had been established. I think the biometrics should be used for security purpose so that to prevent the people who are not students into entrance of the school. Correct. Instead of making the student not to enter into the school if they have not completed their fee.
And this is a general question to both Saitoti and Mugambi.
Yes.
Some of the aspirants have been accused of working working so hard to get their competitors out of the race. What is your take on this?
Okay. It is so much unfortunate that some of the aspirants will be thrown. And, let me say, on my side, I don't think that I have any power to either ensure that they are not in the ballot. Because many people they purport saying could get Darius, could get my brother here, but we have no power. After all, we went the vetting committee, we presented our document,
yes,
and we were vetted. And of course, their qualifications. Yeah. And there's a constitution. And if we've followed the constitution and we've seen like Darius is in, there's no any problem. But when on the other side, the constitution like turns down against me, well, what do you have to do?
Saitoti, your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it is something sad to actually accuse maybe your fellow competitors, though it may be a political strategy. But to me, it has never come to my thoughts. So thinking of going to maybe some downplay there, Fulani should not be in. I've never thought of the same, because I believe in transparency and I believe in accountability. Well, we went to the vetting committee. I presented my documents, and we found that, in fact, when you go there, you already known. You already have all it takes, so they already have your documents, so you're only going there for maybe some few questions. So I was questioned, and I answered my case, and I was done. I came out successful. But to my brothers, maybe, who some of the technical issues may not have agreed. Maybe it may be constitutional or some other things. It is so unfortunate, but I don't feel happy because they are out of the ballot. In fact, it could be very fair if all of us could have been here. We discuss and we share issues. All we want is the best leadership, the best president, somebody who can deliver to us. It's not about this person must be and this person should not be. There was a case last year, and when we had some brothers of ours who were denied to be in the ballot, and it happened, some of them, we are really supporting them. But you see, it turned out the other way around.
Okay.
But they also had to accept and support.
All right.
So my idea is to my brothers,
Right.
Honorable Musa, Honorable Orieng, Honorable Charlie, and Honorable Peterson, is to kindly, if things cannot work, I personally welcome you to my camp.
Okay, Kemboi.
Yes.
What do you expect that these politicians, I call them politicians because they are in politics, ensure that they have clean campaigns? What do you expect them to do?
For them to have a clean campaign, I think the first thing they should have to do, as Saitoti have said, is not accusing of your fellow competitor. That's the only thing which it can make you to have a clean campaign. That's the only thing.
And of course, even as you talk about the not accusing others.
Yeah.
Some even have been accused of going to the accounts, and of course trying to hack their details to get to know what they have.
Yeah.
So do you think it is a matter that it's of great concern and that the school should even consider with the weight it deserves?
To consider about their
issues of the issues of behavior, the way they hack, the way they present themselves. They are bloggers, of course. They are there. They keep on fighting one another online and everywhere, Facebook, WhatsApp.
I think the school should take care of that one, because a leader should actually be told when you see somebody, even the way somebody is talking, the way somebody is dressing, actually you can tell this person is a leader. And a leader should not have that authority to accuse the other people, even though those other people, they are behind there. They should try and to take everybody with equity without denominating of other people. Yeah.
Mr. Darius,
Yes.
do you think the university, the leadership of MKUSA is under siege, given that the administration has taken the whole control of everything, even including whether students should go to strike or not?
What do you mean, like the administration taking, like, what do you mean?
For example, we have earned attempts of strikes, and then they just go without yielding to no results. Leaders have been called to go to meetings, given some talks, and then unfortunately the strike just is cancelled. And many other things that students could have done but they don't do. So from where you sit, do you think the administration is somehow trying to, humiliate leaders of MKUSA?
Not really humiliate, but we have a problem. And I will never blame the administration or the conference. But as I've told you, they might be having a lot of agendas, like a lot of what things to do when I get to that office. But the most important thing as conference, are we united? And then another thing that makes us such stuff to fail, of course I'm not advocating for strike, is a cheap interest. You see our leaders, or probably somebody has been called somewhere, whether you're mitigated. Then you find conference are there waiting for us. Like the last time that we've been having a forum or a meeting here, it was we stayed for almost 2 days when one of our own left us. We stayed for almost 2 days without any direction from there. That's why you saw me pushing hard, at least for us to get a direction. At least we sit down, we reason. Who is on the wrong side? Is it Kenya Mpya? Is it the student? At least we try to weigh things. But now we find most of the time when conferences are willing, our leaders are not there. When leaders are willing to do something, we find that conference, there's somehow staggered. There's some people who are supporting these, others are not, they are opposing. Of course, the main thing, that's why I'm saying the first thing that I can advocate for, it is the power and the spirit of cooperation, of which I think the best thing before even tackle anything. We might be talking about the time restrictions, about metrics, but without unity, it will be all in vain.
Saitoti?
Well. Okay.
Do you think the administration has taken the whole control of everything in MKUSA leadership? From where you sit?
Well, not really, but you see, the constitution, the MKUSA constitution, gives us an opportunity as a student of a peaceful demonstration. So when you talk of maybe the administration taking siege of MKUSA, it is not that definite, though they have some kind of power to control, but not definite.
There are two facts here. Number one, this is a private university, and of course the management, is not under control by the government. So when you talk about the leadership of MKUSA being under siege, it brings some questions. Even if it is private, why should it be like that? Should it be so?
Well, when you bring the aspect of privacy of the institution, I want to tell you first, nobody is privatized. I am not personally private. So the institution might be private, but we are not privatized as the students. In fact, there are bigger number nowadays currently in this institution is funded by the government and COOPs. So when you talk of private and all that, it may not bring sense. Otherwise, when you talk of maybe the control of the administration on MKUSA, I think this is a failure of leaders. It is as a result of weak leadership and people who don't stand their ground, people who can be swayed here and there, people who are after their selfish interest. And so in the event that something happens, my brother is talking about last year's case, about Kenya Mpya and all that. So if we had a strong leadership, let me tell you, that thing was legitimate. It was maybe some kind of action. But you see, because of our leadership, people are just running up and down hiding. And after all, it went just untackled. So basically, if we want to take charge as a MKUSA association, is we get leaders who can stand and face the administration front-head without deliberating and letting it. So I think that will be the best thing we can do.
Collins, you as students and of course as young leaders of MKUSA, what have you done to hold your leaders into account?
According to me, to what I've done to most of the leaders, I've just ensured that leaders, before they do anything, they usually come and concern us to give them direction, and then we see whether they make the right decision or the wrong, to see ahead what's going to happen if they do this or what they do that. Then we sit down and do the right thing, which it can bring all the students and the staffs in harmony and peace in this institution. That's all.
Darius, 10 years from now, both academically and politically, where will you be?
10 years from now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have plans. My biggest plan that to see me in the foreseeable future. I want to give back to the community. After given this opportunity to serve as a president, I feel I should go back to my community and serve them. And I know one time, 10 years from now, I think I'll be a governor somewhere in this country.
Do you have which interest in terms of political leadership? I mean, political leadership into national politics.
Definitely, yeah.
You want to be the next MP of the Rakanidi West?
Okay, time will tell, but I have plans. Plans.
Saitoti,
Yes.
when do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
In 10 years' time, we are in 2020, so most probably by 2030. By then, at least I'll have built the desired capacity. And by then, there's a time limit of 10 years. So by then, I'll have maybe done some 1, 2, 3 on my family. We have to get married.
Of course, yes.
And get here and there. So politically, I think by then I have been active, but not in any position. Yeah, maybe if you could add some 5 or some other 7 years, then by then I'll be clear. But for these 10 years, I think I'll be working on myself, my background and all that. Academically, I'm thinking of maybe I'll have finished my master's and all that.
And from your own point of view, as the electoral college, the system of election denied students their democratic rights to choose their leaders in some way. How?
In some way. It has. Because the electoral, this way of the delegate system, sometimes it brings out a result that are unworthy, because we find such a university, university, we have more than 1,000 and thousands of students. But we find that people who go to vote, they are very few. Last time we were 216. Out of those 20,000 students and that we are. So I think the 216 doesn't really represent the interest of Congress.
If you allow me to ask you, is that the reason as to why you people bribe delegates to vote for you? Because the number is too little, and then when they are voting everyone, you can't afford to give them some money, yeah?
There's one person who said that money is magnet to power. But Congress, you've talked about bribing. I think, okay, we don't bribe.
What do you?
We appreciate.
You appreciate.
We appreciate, because to have someone in your camp, in your team, that campaign period, I think it's going to appreciate, because the very last day or during campaigns. Elections comes and go. So we need to, if there's something, just share with comrades.
Saitoti,
Well,
what is your view on the electoral system of voting by the delegates?
I think the delegate system is not that efficient because it denies a greater number of people their rights of voting. Because you can imagine we are about 19,000 students, or even more. And out of these 19,000, you only get like 200. So you see, you're not that, the mathematics there does not relate. It does not match. So actually, this system, I don't see it that efficient. So if we can have the Mlolongo system, of which I'm really yearning it, maybe in the future for those people will be fine next year and the other years. If that Mlolongo system could be there, at least it will be nice and good for everybody. But it's okay, we can do with this.
Collins,
Yes.
do you think the one student by one vote is the most efficient?
Between one by one stand by vote.
Yeah, one student, one vote to all the students in MKU. Do you think it's
State
efficient?
of delegates.
No, I'm asking, do you think that one student voting, everyone is voting
Yeah.
to the ballot individually
Yeah.
is the most efficient way of doing the elections?
I think that one is the most efficient way of doing election because the student will be actually satisfied that I have elected this person, this the person that I have elected, and this the person that will serve me. That's the most efficient way and very good way of election. Yeah.
And of course, one of the functions of the student council is to ensure that and work for students' rights of representation at the organs of the university. So Darius is elected as the chairperson of MKUSA. How would we ensure that this is achieved?
The interest of the student.
Yeah,
Okay.
and their right, of course.
Yeah, right. One thing that I can ensure, of course, there are many interests that we have from different components, but there are those interests that are common to each and every person, like the fee policy, attendance of classes, trigonometry. I think the first thing we need to advocate for is diplomacy. Yeah, diplomacy.
When talk about diplomacy, what do you mean?
Okay, I think we should have engagement with the administration, at least to see measures that we can take to have such a thing sorted out. But if it fails, there are many other things to ensure that the interest of Congress is done for.
Saitoti.
When time comes.
Okay.
Well, I think when it comes to that, about maybe bridging the administration and the student, it needs some soberness and some clear of mind. As a leader, you need to know how to connect on both sides, because always it will never come to a point that the administration and the student merge completely. There may be some interest that maybe the comrades want and the administration may feel like no. So as a leader, you need to be very smart on how you play your cards. So of course we have so many things on board on how, or many methods on how you can bridge the administration and the student. You can use negotiation in case of anything. In case of any disagreement between the administration and the student, you can negotiate. You can use some diplomacy. You can use some round table talk. You see, and one thing I believe is nobody's like an island. The administration cannot stay alone, and also the student council cannot be on their part alone. We have to merge for us to realize the many and the core goal of the university, that is unlocking infinite possibilities. So if you all want to reach to that common goal, we need to come to a point of understanding and some agreement on our issues.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Collins, your last comments on this?
My last comment on this is just to advise our presidential aspirant as they go to the seat, they must work on it and to ensure that they fulfill what they have just promised the student, and to ensure that the coordination between them and the administration, it has run well as expected. And just in case there is any issue, they should have solved immediately instead of waiting until students get demonstrating. Yeah, that's what we want.
Thank you very much. And of course, I'll give each one of you, the two of you, 30 seconds. Look at the camera and address the students. Mugambi,
Yes.
it's your turn.
Okay. Well, as you heard, I'm Darius Mugambi, and I want first to thank the team, KBM, their television, for this move on this conference is recent to us. And as we soldier on the election, I'd like to ask the conference, we remain calm, we have peaceful campaigns, and I think at the end of it all, we'll have a good leader. Of course, if we were all voted in, at least we qualify. Yeah, but I most humbly request for your support, guys. At least, as my title goes, I'm a company, and companionship is my business. And as you've nicknamed me, Mr. Tukov, please just board my plane, and I think we shall land safely. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Benakafuli, and your team, KBM TV, for this fantastic moment. At least we are able to hear out our ideas and all that to the comrades. Secondly, I want to thank the comrades. Thank you for watching and listening to us. I know by then you will make sober and clear decisions. But what I want to request from you is your support. Saitoti here is in for a change. As indicated in all that I speak, is change, time for change. We do things differently. We do things diplomatically. We do things comradely. Let me tell you guys, we have so many things in the kitchen cooking. Saitoti is there, and I know we shall make it to the best. So I need your support. Kindly, delegates, I have so many things for you. You are there for our house, the delegates, opportunities are there for you, and I need your support. I know we shall make it together when we agree. The comrades, let's remain in peace. Let's be united. Let's engage. This is a time I am looking forward for the delegates and the comrades to make the right decisions. Let us be peaceful. Let us defy the issue of tribalism, the issue of regionalism. Let us make the right decisions. Elect a leader you want. Let me tell you, leadership is never circumstantial, as in you get a leader out of a circumstance. No, leadership is all round and all-time business. So Saitoti is here, and the best thing for your support. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
And that is where we wrap it at KBM TV. On behalf of my team and of course the entire panel, we thank you and wish you the best. God bless you. Bye-bye.